What's up, my people? It's another edition of the Blayzini podcast where, boy, I'm be talking about the best in sports, man. And today is no difference, man. Today is no different as I will be discussing. It's another edition of the Blayzini podcast where, boy, I'm talking about the best in sports, man. And today is no difference, man. Today is no different as I will be discussing. I don't know what's going on right there, but we had a a moment of bad production. Bad production right there. I don't know what happened right there, but yo. Yo, my bad on the last one, people, man. That's why sometimes you got to hire people to produce things. Well, I don't have that kind of money, so I have to do it myself. Yes, sir. This is another edition of the Blayzini podcast, or the Blayzini report, I should say, where I'm dropping the hottest topics in the sports world. And today is no difference. Boy, today is no different. And it's been a minute, man. I want to get into a little basketball today. I want to get into a little football today and also a little officiating. Yes, sir. A little officiating officials because, on my, days off, I like to moonlight as a referee. And, man, I got to talk about it. But first and foremost, I will be discussing the GOAT topic. LBJ versus MJ. In my opinion on LBJ and MJ. And I will be bringing up my side and my view because, man, hands down, I'm going to say who my GOAT is. And my GOAT is MJ, hands down, because I've watched both of them play. I've seen both of them play. And people are going to be like, so how is it any different than any other discussion? It's because a lot of people, they're forgetting things. They're very forgetful. Especially these NBA players, they're very forgetful. And these young guys, they don't know. They don't know the struggle that MJ went through. They don't understand. They don't get it. So I'm going to discuss that in detail. Also, I'm going to bring up the arguments that the LBJ fans aren't bringing up. You know what I'm saying? Like they're bringing up some arguments that you say, oh, maybe, but they're not bringing up the argument I'm going to bring up today. And why I feel like LBJ isn't the GOAT yet. And he can't be the GOAT until he does some things that I'm looking for him to do. And people may disagree with me, but that's why I do this. Because, man, this is my opinion. This is what I believe in. So with no further ado, let me get into it. Why I believe MJ is the GOAT. I mean, hands down, 6-0. 6 championships, 6 rings, never has gone to game 6 in the finals, has defied all odds at 6'6", man. The guy was 6'6", 100 and something pounds, and doing it on 7-footers. The athleticism that he displayed, because the man did baseball, right? And came back and won 3 more championships. So yeah, that's the basics. You know what I'm saying? That's the basics. But what I want to get into is how I need to refresh people's memory around here. And I have to refresh a lot of, like, I don't know what's going on with some of these basketball players that have their little podcasts or whatever, or have their little video stream thing. Like, they sound real bitter. They sound real upset with Mike. And Mike don't really care, but at the end of the day, the reason why a lot of these guys are getting paid like they do is because Mike. The reason why you can get a shoe deal is because of Mike. Mike did that. The reason why dudes have their own customized shoes, because Mike was customizing shoes. Like, Converse had to get up with Nike back in the day because Jordan had just, man, he customized his own shoe with Nike. And Converse had to get on board back then because Converse didn't really have a spokesperson and nobody had a customized shoe with Converse until you had Magic, because you had the purple and gold Converse. Remember those? The purple and gold Converse. You had Bird, the green and black Converse. Remember those? And Dr. J had his own pair of red. But before that, Mike in 84, 85 came out with the Jordan, the red and black. You know? So before that, there was nobody customizing shoes. So yeah, he got you guys these deals. So why are you so bitter? Also, nobody wasn't making any money off endorsements like they do now. The reason why you can go sign with McDonald's or Gatorade or any other place is because of Mike. I mean, Mike, MJ, Michael Jeffrey Jordan. That's the reason. He changed the game. He did. Like, the reason why these guys are where they're at right now is because he changed the game. Now, we can get off of that because, oh, Ben, the endorsements or whatever. That doesn't make him the GOAT, or, in my opinion, make him the GOAT. But the reason I call him the GOAT is because, yes, he did it he won a championship without an all-star. Let me repeat that. Let me repeat that so it sinks into a lot of people. Michael Jordan did win a championship without an all-star. And you can Google it if you want to, because Scottie Pippen in 1991 was not an all-star. He may have came up big in the finals. He may have came up big in the playoffs. But man, go look at the records. And they had replacement guys because Larry Bird was hurt and Isaiah Thomas was hurt. And guess what? Nobody selected Scottie Pippen to be on the All-Star. I mean, it's Google. Google it. Google it if you want to. But in 1991, when he won his first championship, he did it without an All-Star. He did it without an All-Star. So that's what I'm here to do, is refresh a lot of people's memory, because you know what? A lot of young guys, they only remember the 96 through 98 team. They don't remember the 91 through 93 team, because the 91 team wasn't even expected to win the finals, because you had Clyde Drexler and the Portland Trail Blazers who went 63-19 that year. They were expected to win the championship that year. Because you know why? They got upset by the Lakers. Magic Johnson. So I have to be here to refresh a lot of people's memory on this stuff, because it mind boggles me how these NBA players who are my age don't remember this stuff. Like, yeah, Scottie Pippen was an all-star in 1990, his first year. But 1991, he missed the boat. He did. He missed the boat. He's not on that team. And then the thing is that they weren't the favorites to win the championship in 1991. Guess who was? The Portland Trail Blazers. And back then there were steps. There was a process to this. You played teams like Isaiah had to go through Magic the first year. They lost. And then they came back and won 2. Then all of a sudden, Larry Bird had to go through Magic. There was a process to all this. So back then it was a little different. People had to take steps to get to the goal that they were trying to get to. But Mike said, you know what? Screw that. I'm going to do that today. And that's what happened. And I don't understand why these NBA players or these so-called analysts out there don't remember this. I'm just confused and baffled that they forget that his first championship was without an all-star. 1991. So, okay. All right, I'll give him that year. Then you fast forward. You go to 1993. 1993, He wasn't expected to make the finals because you know what? The New York Knicks were supposed to upset the Bulls. They were supposed to take the Bulls out in 1993. The New York Knicks had a squad. They went and got Charles Smith. They went and got Charles Smith. And what happened to Charles Smith? Man, he got rejected 3 times. Not only once by Horace Grant, he got rejected by Pippen, and MJ finished him off. So, to say that they were the favorites, like a lot of people say, oh, they were always the favorite. They were always considered the favorite in every championship. Every year they were considered the favorite. And nah, that wasn't the case, my people. That wasn't the case. 91, they weren't the favorites. 92, they were the favorites. And even that was a struggle because the Knicks took them to Game 7 in 92. They took them to Game 7. Don't you guys remember? That's the whole Xavier McDaniels getting in Michael Jordan's face, or Michael Jordan getting in McDaniels' face and telling him, nah, not today, homie. Not today, not on my floor. And you're not going to continue to pick on Scottie Pippen because Scottie Pippen had a bad series. The all-star Scottie Pippen had a bad series against the Knicks. The physical play was way too much for Mr. Pippen because Anthony Mason was giving it to him. Freaking Xavier McDaniels was trying to punk him. But Mike was like, nah, you ain't going to do that. You're not going to do that. Not on my watch. It's not going to happen. But people forget that. Okay, let it happen. Let it be forgetful. Also, man, that 92 Cleveland Cavalier team, they were no slouches. They went and got Gerald Wilkins because he was supposed to be the MJ stopper. Remember? He was supposed to be the MJ stopper. What happened there? He didn't do very well. That's what happened. He couldn't stop Mike. You know what I'm saying? So it like the recollection of history with these guys is just it bothers me. Like, how don't you remember this stuff? I lived it. I watched it. I was living in the moment. Like, man, you ain't stopping Mike. You're not. And then we fast forward to 1993, where once again, they're not considered the favorites. Because you had the Charles Barkley team with the Suns, and they were running roughshod through the NBA. They were giving the business to every team. What happened? MJ happened. He carried the team because, man, everybody was struggling. That's why he was scoring 56 points. Remember? But see, they don't remember, and that's the problem. That's the problem that we fail this younger generation. That's the things we fail to tell this younger generation about Michael Jeffrey Jordan. We fail to tell them, like, dude, Mike did this, Mike did that, alone, because there were still question marks about Scottie Pippen. There were still question marks about Scottie Pippen through those years. The first championship years, there were a whole bunch of question marks on Scottie Pippen. The best thing that happened to Scottie Pippen was in 1994 when MJ went to go play baseball. It was the best thing that ever happened to him because he came into his own, close to winning the MVP. If it wasn't a bad call by Hugh Hollins against the Knicks, we might be talking a different story. Maybe Mike don't even come back. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. But that allows Scottie to be the Scottie Pippen that all you guys know now. The one that played in 96, 97, and 98 and made the team a super team. Because Scottie had finally came into his own without Mike. But before those years, 91 through 93, that's all Mike. That is all Mike. All Mike. I mean, a dibble-dabble of an all-star here or there, but really that's Michael Jordan. And these young guys, they forget that. They forget the first three-peat. The man had the first three-peat basically alone. And you guys want to tell me that, oh, LeBron had this guy, LeBron didn't have this guy, LeBron needed help and this and that. Mike had no help. And he didn't. And you can go look at the stats, go look at all the analytics in it, and you'll see that my point with this is correct. I'm 100% right on this one. Because, man, I remember 91 through 93. It was Mike and the Jordanettes. That's what it was. And I don't understand why these analysts forget about this. I don't understand, like, the Perkins, the Reddicks, all the other guys. You know, why they forget about this? Like, I don't get it. You guys are about the same age as me. What's the deal? Did you forget? Did you forget that in 1991, how he had to pull the team together just to get past Magic? Yeah, they win 5 games. Oh well, Magic had a few guys hurt. I'll give him that. Made the road kind of easy for Mike. And that's the flip side that I'm going to get to later. How maybe there is an argument here with LBJ versus MJ. Maybe there is. But see, the thing that I don't understand about LeBron James fans is that they give him a pass. They give him a free pass all the time. And like even Kevin Garnett said this. He said that they baby him. The NBA has always babied him. And to me, I get it now. And I kept on looking for the right words to describe what the NBA does to LeBron, but they give him a free pass. And what I mean by that, like, LeBron James fans should be expecting more. You should. The man is 6'9", built like a tight end. He should be dominating everything all the time. There shouldn't be anyone better or greater on the floor except for him. But here come the LeBron James fans. Oh, he needs help. He needs this guy. He needs this dude. Oh, he can't do it by himself. I think that's a bunch of BS. Like, yes, he can do it by himself. Because basketball is the only sport that, man, one guy by himself can make everyone look good. And I've seen it. 91 through 93, Michael Jeffrey Jordan. I've seen it. But with LBJ, we're just like, man, you know what? He needs this. He needs that. He needs all of this stuff. But honestly, does he? Like, the man is 6'9", dude. And he should be more dominant. That's my knock on him. Like, he's good. He is a good player. But he should be more dominant. And he should be better than what he is. He should have more rings on his finger. And then maybe I would consider, man, good to go. But even in this time, his peers don't even consider him the greatest. Back then, Mike's peers considered him the greatest. I've never heard anybody that's gone through a finals and lost to LeBron and say, man, yeah, he is the greatest of all time. Never heard that. But I've heard that plenty of times in Michael Jordan's era. Like, where the guys come out after the 6-game loss and say, yeah. The only dude that I didn't think ever said that was Karl Malone. But Stockton co-signed on it. I mean, even in the 96 through 98 years, 98, they were questionable. Because Utah had a better season that year. And Utah was expected to win that series. They were the favorites. Didn't happen. You saw what happened. Game 6. Byron Russell. Sorry. And that's my knock on LeBron James, is that, man, he should be better. He should be a lot better. He should have more rings. He should have more MVPs. He should have more scoring titles. But he's ready for records. And people are like, yeah, he's got this record and that record. Well, dude, since you've been in the league for 20 years, you should have all of the records, you know? Like, you've been in the league forever, dude. Like, if you work at something forever, you're going to get all kinds of accolades. That's what you're doing. Like, if you've done, military for 20 years, man, I would suggest that you've come across some things and gotten better at your job. And that's what He's been in the league forever. He's been in the league since he was a kid. So they have babied him, and LeBron James fans have babied him more. And then I'm going to get into another point, because a lot of LeBron James fans says, man, he doesn't need to take the last shot in the last moment. Why not? Why not? And they all say, well, he makes the right, correct play. Nah. Now when you're the best player on the floor, passing it to Dennis Schroeder or giving it to Lou Williams or passing it to Smith, that's not the right play for you. That might be the right play for for Smith, J.R. Smith, J.R. Smith. That might be the right play for him. That might be the right play for Dennis Schroeder. That might be the right play for Lou Williams. But when you're the best player on the floor, passing it to them isn't the right play. The right play is you being dominant and going in there and go get your bucket. Like, no one can stop you. No one. Like, you're bigger than everybody. Like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? You should be the guy that says, man, yeah, I put this team on my back, and man, we won a championship. You shouldn't have to depend on Kyrie to pull you out of the fire. You shouldn't have to depend on Ray Allen to pull you out of the fire. You should be the dominant one. And that's what I don't see, because the resume looks great until the biggest moments come up. And then the biggest moments come up and he's nowhere to be found. He's passing the ball off. He doesn't want the criticism. And once again, it goes back to him being babied. But that's the whole reason. He don't want the criticism if he misses the shot. He can't deal with that criticism because he's been babied in the NBA for so long. He can't deal with that. But Mike, on the other hand, yeah, I'm taking the last shot. Go get the rebound. If you get the rebound. Go, you know what I'm saying? If you happen to be open and I trust you like he trusts John Paxson, like he trusts Steve Kerr, man, I might pass it to you. But in all love, it might, he's taking the last shot because you know what? He is the best player on the floor. And that's the knock that I have on LBJ. Man, dude, great player. Like, to me, when I seen LBJ come out of high school, because I've seen him for a long time, 20 years, 20 plus years, because I remember I got his Slam magazine somewhere in my archives. I got that Slam magazine where he's in his high school jersey. And man, the kid, when I seen him coming out, I was like, man, this dude is he's gonna be the dude. Mike, you better watch out. This is the dude right here. Kobe, you better watch out. This is the dude right here. Because what I expected was Mike and Magic combined. That's what I saw. That's what I wanted to see. And man, he's got the magic. And I don't even think he's clutch like Magic. Because even Magic, man, the Magic Man, he taking the last shot in the last moments. Those are the moments you have to live up to, especially with the resume like he has. You have to. But they've babied him. They've cuddled him, and they made him feel like, man, no one can touch you. No one can give you criticism. No one can criticize what you do. And that's why he passes the ball off in clutch moments, because he don't want the critics. He doesn't. And it's okay. It's all right. But you're not. That's why you're not the GOAT. That is why you are not the GOAT. Now, LBJ fans, I'm going to give you a little tidbit. I'm going to give y'all a little something that y'all can use in your argument when you guys argue on the streets about this or in the barbershops. See, the thing about MJ is a lot of people got to understand, a lot of guys were missing. A lot of guys who, man, could have been giving Michael competition in those years, 91, 92, 93, all throughout those years, they were missing. You had the death of Ben Wilson. He died. You had the tragic death of Len Bias. He died. Also, Reggie Lewis passed away. Bernard King had a major injury back in the day. ACL, MCL, you were done. These days they correct those problems. But back then you just, you didn't have that kind of science. So Bernard King, you fast forward, the Celtics had Reggie Lewis. He passed away. So imagine if Reggie Lewis and Len Bias were on the same team. Mike would have been in trouble. In my opinion. So there are, some breaks that Mike had along the way to get to where he's the GOAT. But man, in the biggest moments he shined. And that's why he's the GOAT. In the biggest moments he shined. And for him to take that Bulls team, especially in 91, 92, 93, when there were so many question marks around Scottie Pippen, so many question marks around Horace Grant, to take those teams into those situations, man, you saw what he did. But yeah, could you imagine him playing against that team, the Celtics, Len Bias, freaking Reggie Lewis? They had the kid out of BC who was pretty good. So, man, imagine that. That team meeting up in the Eastern Conference Finals. That would have been fireworks right there. So, yeah, there were some breaks for Mike to get the GOAT title or even win 3 championships. There were some breaks, major breaks. Bernard King with the then called Washington Bullets. Drazen Petrovic with that Nets team. And Drazen had no fear of Jordan. But he passed away. So yes, there were some breaks. There were some major breaks from Jordan. But still, you can't knock what he did. You can't knock that. You can't. Everybody gets breaks. You know what I'm saying? Everybody does. Draymond Green getting suspended in that Golden State versus Cleveland series. Like I said, everybody gets breaks. And man, I'm sorry guys. I know you LBJ fans, you guys are probably gonna hate on this, but he's not the GOAT. He's not. And his own peers, I don't think he's the GOAT. And that's where it should come from. Like I said, man, I'm trying to these debates, they get sticky, and I try to nurture, I try to school these young guys, because these young guys, all they know is 96 through 98. And yeah, 96 through 98, man, to be honest, especially after 96, I didn't even have to really watch the Bulls games, because I knew who was going to win. They were dominant. You just can't, you can't get away from that. They were just like the Heat were. The Heat were dominant, but they were supposed to win all 4 of those championships. They weren't supposed to lose to the Mavericks, and they weren't supposed to lose to the Spurs, especially when you have 2 of the top 5 NBA players in the world on that team. It's not possible. But yeah, man, the GOAT in my opinion is freaking Michael Jeffrey Jordan. But I did give you LBJ fans some knowledge that you guys can use in the barbershop if you want to. But that's where I'm going with it. And also there's somebody in Chicago that plays QB that thought LBJ is the GOAT. He can use these little tidbits that I just gave him. But yeah, getting into football, getting into that part of life, man, Justin saying that was crazy to me. I can't believe he said that, but he did. And he's a young guy, so he only sees what everybody else sees and tells him. He doesn't know the full-on story. He doesn't know the actual struggles. He doesn't know because he didn't live it. My generation, we lived it. We've watched both play, and we come away with the same thing. And speaking of Justin Fields and getting into the football topic, man, I don't know what's going to happen with Justin, honestly, because now you got Russ Wilson that has been cut by the Denver Broncos. So, man, that changes things. That changes a lot of things, because, man, nobody has to jump out the window, because, man, Russ Wilson I mean, it didn't work out in Denver, and maybe he doesn't have it anymore. But a professional like that, I would hate to doubt him. I would hate to think that he couldn't get it done. And I'm curious to what team is going to pick him up. Also, you have Kirk Cousins out there. So that changes a little bit of the trade market. It changes a lot because you got these free agency. Also, you got the oh no, I think he resigned. I'm not sure. I got to look that up. But Barkley, I think he resigned with Tampa. I'm not sure, but you got that guy out there as well if he hasn't. But you got Cousins and you got Russ out there. And man, those dominoes have to fall first before the Justin Fields trade can happen. And it's going to be real interesting how the Bears move forward. I mean, do they dare keep Justin on the team and still get a quarterback and have Justin as a backup, or wait it out to see what the trade market is? Like I said, we're not trying to give up Justin for some Fruit Loops and freaking popcorn. We're not trying to give him up for nothing. We want some steak. We want some filet mignon for him. He has a lot of potential. He has a lot of potential. So we want the best. We want what we think is the best out there for him. And we're not going to settle for any less. And I don't think Ryan Post should settle for less. So that's going to be very interesting because, man, like, we have the number one pick. No one wants to trade for Justin. So do we get stuck in a situation? So it could backfire on us. It could backfire on us being the number one pick. But what are we gonna do? You know what I'm saying? I still think they might draft a quarterback. But man, either way, we can trade that pick down, and that's the interesting thing about it. If we trade the pick down, and man, we go get Marvin Harrison and keep Justin for another year. It's still a good position, but we have to wait for the free agent quarterbacks to get signed, see what teams they're going to go to, and then we can make some moves. You know what I'm saying? And then we can see if we have a good trade value on Justin Fields. Like I said, we want filet mignon. We want filet mignon. We don't want no Skittles, no Cracker Jacks, man, no flaming hot Doritos or Cheetos. We want filet mignon and potatoes. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully it works out for Ryan Poles. In the meantime, staying on NFL, I did want to get on the topic of officiating and referees, man. Boy. NFL has probably one of the most difficult jobs as a referee. Like, man, those guys, they run fast and they're fast. They're just quick. So, man, sometimes I understand why some of those guys miss some of the things that they miss, because it's such a fast game. And it's a physical game. It's not only a fast game, it's a physical contact game where, man, it's spur of the moment. Like, as we watch the TV, we follow the ball. Those guys, they're not following the ball. And what they see compared to what you see is totally different. We're always on camera ball, so we see the ball and where it goes, so we don't know what has happened or transpired throughout the game. Also, it's interesting, or it makes it, difficult for us or for a referee, because it's a spur of the moment. It happens right then. We at home have the luxury of replay, where we can see things, where, man, they review, hey, how did he miss that? These referees are horrible. And it's not that they're horrible. It's just, man, the shit just happens so fast. It's quick. It's quick. Like, man, 2 seconds you look away and bam, it can happen just like that. And I feel like the NFL needs to add more referees to have more eyes, because the game is fast. And it's the hardest sport to do. That's why they don't look as great as they should. I'm not going to say they're the worst of all the NFL or all the referees, but they're pretty high on the list because they miss a whole lot. And it's tough. It's hard. So I'm not going to say that, they're bad, but man, it's difficult. It's difficult being a referee these days, especially when people don't respect you, and they don't respect the officials as on a whole. Like, I'm a security guard as well, and they don't respect us. So when it comes to officials and security and all that stuff, people have a difficult time listening or being told what to do. It's just human nature, and it's difficult. I mean, it is. But when it comes to refereeing, please respect the referees. Also, understand the refereeing. Understanding the referee. And this is one of those things that the NBA, and man, I love Stacey King and Adam Amin. I love their call, you know what I'm saying? But man, they harp on the referees and how they referee and the mechanics of the refereeing. And the thing is like, in basketball, you're taught to hold the whistle, because if say a guy goes to the lane, right? He gets fouled, you know what I'm saying? And you're expected to call it, but you're taught to hold the whistle because if he makes the basket, play on. Because no one wants to see the clock stop, really. No one likes the clock stopping because it becomes a boring game. It does. If I were to call every call on a basketball floor, the game would take 3 hours. It would. It would, because there's actually contact and physicality on almost every play. So when I hear guys like Stacey King, blow the whistle. If it's a foul, it's a foul. Why should it be so late? No, because I'm waiting to see if he makes the shot. If he makes the shot, then, man, we're playing on. If he doesn't, then I'm blowing my whistle because, man, he got fouled and, man, the contact was there. But if he makes the shot, man, we're going and we're playing on because we want the clock to continue to move. We need the pace to continue. We need to get flow to this game. And that's the biggest thing when you're refereeing. You want flow, you want pace, and you want to make sure that you're not stopping the clock, especially with basketball. You don't want to stop the clock. You don't, because it becomes a boring game, and no one wants to watch boredom. Nobody does. And that's the whole thing. And like, you're not here to see me, so I'm not going to try to blow my whistle when you made the shot. All right, cool, play on. Now, if it's something that man, I gotta blow, so it's a fine line, and it's all about the mechanics. They've always taught us that. It's all about the mechanics and how you referee, and that's what, man, Stacey and Adam, they go in, and I'm just like, dude, relax. It's not that big a deal, man. Yeah, they called the foul. Man, they don't want to stop the clock. They just called the foul like 2 minutes ago. Now they're gonna call another one. Man, that's like, 10 minutes of regular time that it takes to do all that stuff. And man, that's too long. That is too long. To me, my baseball guys, man, I think is black and white. And also, stop getting on the umpire for calling maybe a ball that's outside the plate. These athletes are good. They're good enough to hit that ball. And whatever happened to protect. You're 3-2, man. Protect. If it's close, protect. That's what you got to do. Because, man, don't rely on me. Don't rely on the ump. Because I'm not bailing you out. I'm trying to get home and get this done with. Because, man, people don't like 2 hours. Anything above 2-hour games. They don't like it. Like, you see, the MLB has already structured things differently, and the game is a quicker pace. To me, I think to eliminate that, make the plate a little bit bigger. You made the bases bigger, made the plate a little bit bigger, because then that eliminates anybody ever crying or complaining that that ball was too outside or it was too inside. Like, no, you know what I'm saying? Like, protect, dude. That's what you gotta do. You have to protect when it's 3-2 and it's close. Because you know what? You leave it up to me and I'm ringing you up. That's as simple as that. I am ringing you up because, man, no one wants to watch anything above 2 hour games. And, 7 innings or 9 innings, man, they want it done fast. And that's the beast, So that's my little tidbit on, refereeing. Like I said, respect my refs out there, man. Don't be giving them a hard time. A lot of people out there just don't agree with officials in general, and they just don't like to be told what to do, and they basically think that, man, we're always wrong. But man, we go to classes for this stuff. Like, we just didn't walk off the street and say, hey man, we're gonna be referees today. No, that's not how it works. We go to classes, we get rated, there is a rating system and all that stuff. So yeah, and it just blows my mind when people talk about my referees. It just gets me. So I that's my little spiel on that. And man, I hope you guys respect us a little bit more than what you used to. But yeah, this is the Blayzini report, man. Go subscribe. At the end of this, you will see the subscriptions, my whole entire monologue and where I'm at. You'll see. So make sure you guys go check me out. Trying to make this thing grow, you know what I'm saying? Add a little water every day to it. Typically I'm gonna try to get the Blayzini report out on Fridays. I feel like that's a day that I'm gonna try to do this on. It's gonna be difficult because my kids, they kind of they run the parents' life, right? But yeah, so most Fridays I'm gonna try to get this Blayzini report out to you guys so you guys can check your boy out. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to grow the brand. Come support, man. Share, put the word out. Put the word out that the Blayzini report is gonna start catching fire. Later on, either today or Sunday, I'm going to be talking about a little bit of wrestling because that is my secondary thing. Yeah, a lot of big things going to be happening this weekend, so I will be here to discuss it. So make sure you stay tuned. Go subscribe to my page on YouTube. I'm on LinkedIn Live, Facebook Live, so please support and help your brother out, man. Once again, this is the Blayzini report. Holler at your boy.